So, CERN, I'm going to talk about CERN, has Shiva, the statue of Shiva, which is one of the three main deities, godhead in Hinduism: Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Shiva is considered the destroyer, and the gurus say when Shiva opens his third eye, the whole world will be burned into nothingness. So Shiva is the god of destruction. It's pretty interesting that they have the statue of Shiva, and also when you watch the advertisements or the ad for CERN, you see them dancing the ritual dance invocation of Shiva, which is like 5 people in a circle, and in the middle is one guy who stands on one foot and turns around, and that's the advertisement for CERN. Just type in CERN advertisement and watch it. And also there's a version where if you look at the advertisement very slowly and look at the things in the background, they are all occult symbols. So Tom Riddle was an Ipsissimus, by the way. Ipsissimus is the highest rank that you can get, which basically Aleister Crowley was in Ipsissimus, so he was very proud of that. So Tom Riddle used to talk about the quantum physics, and he used to talk about the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum physics, and that they got it right. They figured it out. So according to him, Tom, excuse me, according to Tim, there are 3 spaces, which is R space, C space, and H space, which would be negative C space. So it gets very complicated in mathematics and so on. And I don't have the time to explain that all, it would take too long. So anyway, he used to talk about the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum physics, and the 3 spaces are: R space is real number space, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's also why the Hermetic Kabbalah is problematic, because Malkut is considered 1 when it is in reality 0, because real number space begins with 0, not 1, according to Tom. Okay, so he used to talk about this, and this is very, very hard to grasp this concept. So there is H space, which would be negative complex number space, like negative 1.5678, something like that, would be an archetype of hell space. H space is hell space. So negative complex numbers are the archetypes. Positive complex number space would be like 2.333, 6.666, something like that. And all the archetypes are in complex number space. The negative archetypes are considered demons, so they are giving energy of the negative complex number space. Archetypes give energy, so if you invoke them, they give you energy, knowledge, and so on. An example for that would be Azazel, Abaddon, Mephistopheles, Lucifer, and so on. That would be considered negative number space, complex number space, like 6.6, negative 6.666, something like that. Would probably be, I don't know, something, a negative archetype. So in this way he described how R space is real number space, and he said that real number space is created, the physical world is created through negative number space, negative complex number space, excuse me. And this is created by the torture of the soul's monad. The torture of the souls creates the physical world. Excuse me. I'm feeling very ill today, and I'm going to make a CV test tomorrow. So if you pray for me, that would be a good thing. So he used to talk about the Higgs boson and the mystery of the Higgs boson, and he said that the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum physics got it right, and it is also in the Kabbalah. So I'm going to show you now what's considered the Higgs boson. So I don't know if you can see that clearly, I hope so. So this here is Ein Sof and Ein Sof Or in the Kabbalah. Ein Sof Or is considered godly light, the light of God. So there it is not yet a physical thing. At this point we have the Higgs boson here, that's what this is, and the Higgs boson has to decide to go to the left or to the right, to the positive space or to the negative space. If the Higgs boson goes to the negative space, it is considered a wave. If it goes to the positive space, it is considered a particle, a physical thing. So that's the mystery of the Higgs boson, which was solved many years ago by the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum physics. And this is also, this here is also, if you make a V into it and a circle around it, this is also the sigil of Lucifer. So that was like mathematically the most complicated thing that he talked about, and he was an ipsissimus, there's no doubt about that. and he did it out of spite. So he had no other motive than to piss these people off. He wanted to show them that a few YouTubers, and I think there was like, at the most, when I watched it, there were like 100 people watching him. After a few videos, there were a few thousand people watching him. After his like 20th video, there were like tens of thousands of people watching this. So he used to talk about unified magic, which is how to get around all this hocus pocus stuff. So the way he did it with like very, 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 very little equipment, and he did it very, 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 very fast. His rituals, and like I said, when he did his rituals in this park, suddenly the weather would change. The sky would be dark, and there would come a rushing wind into this park suddenly, and the dogs, which the people who were taking a walk, would completely freak out. And that happened basically all the time. So the dogs would go completely insane when he did that, his rituals. So that's also why I believe him. So he used to talk about that, which was like the most complicated thing that he talked about, was mathematically speaking, was the Higgs boson and the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum physics. And this guy knew what he was talking about, so there's no doubt in my mind that he knew exactly what he was talking about. And yeah, it's pretty interesting that if you watch the ad for CERN, if you still can find it, they had an ad where they would go through the offices and so on, and you would see hanging on the walls sigils and so on. So why would anyone who is a scientist have a sigil of Lucifer on his wall, or in his book that he's reading, or whatever? So this was pretty eye-opening. Also, there was a video of a guy who worked in CERN, and he took a video with his phone, with his mobile phone, and they made a ritual in front of the Shiva statue, which was a blood ritual, as far as it was a blood ritual, period. That was it. So this was very, very, very concerning. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for listening.